just going on that journey and sort of seeing the many different problems that the world faces today, one that really stood out to me, which is the focus of Informed.now that I'm working on today, is just the importance of having, having your facts right, having your facts straight, having a source of truth and an ability to keep up with this, quickly evolving, quickly changing universe that we're part of. And that's become a passion, and that's become a project, and it's
Mhm.
become a goal and a mission now. But I've also had a couple of ventures prior to Informed Up Now that sort of set me up for it well.
Well, I think what's interesting is as an entrepreneur and seeing you kind of want to dig out the facts from the media and stuff like that, and even some of your other professional work in tech that you've done, I always try to find that yarn that goes from what you wanted to be as a kid to where you are now. That's what I asked that question. I think it's fascinating. And it's a curiosity. Like you have a genuine curiosity and want to experience exploring that curiosity, or at least that's my take from the little bit I've known you, especially today, that's
Yeah,
a thing that you have is a genuine curiosity to find out the facts.
I love that. I love that kind of connecting the dots that you put on because I think it's very accurate. I think I've always been a very curious person. I think my kind of like life journey has made or encouraged a lot of curiosity in me as I kept changing environments, rerouting into
Mhm.
new spaces. It's definitely been a really big part of my life. It's like curiosity is what kind of like kept me alive and kept me going and kept me thriving. And I think you're completely on point there with that being the common thread. I would also say I am a bit of a evangelist for curiosity as a value, like a bit of a proselytizer. Like I want to also encourage other people to be curious. I think Informed.now in
Mhm.
many ways enables a global curiosity, about our world, about what's happening around us, about current life on Earth, because that's what news
Yep.
is, or at least what should be. It is current life on Earth. And I think that's a great place to start being curious before we go off to space, before we go off deep into the ocean. That's a very good starting
Yep.
point.
And one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, in your view, what is the news? Because, and you answered that a little bit, but I'll give you an opportunity to expand on it if you want. What is the news? Because I think we don't know. I don't think people really actually know. They say, "Oh, it's CNN. It's a newspaper." It's like, but what are they supposed to be reporting to you, right?
Yeah. I love that question. It's so simple and it's so obviously under answered in our society and in our culture today. Because when people hear the word news, they almost get this like allergic reaction to it. They're like, oh,
Mm.
news. I don't want to talk about news. We should talk about news today. Like, no, news. Like, no, news. Ew. And I think it's because it's been corrupted by all the news commentary that we've heard, all the news sensationalism that's kind of thrust on us from every direction, from all the big screens in our life, from billboards to large TV to the smallest screens we have, from literally like our wearable devices to our iPhones. The news that we encounter in those spaces are not really news. They are news commentary. It's news, kind of various kinds of interpretation, regurgitation of news by other different people that always has an agenda with it. And what we've encountered or what we've become used to as a society, as a culture, is not news. Actually, very few people have seen the news ever, I would even say. Most of us are just feeding this like news commentary cycle, or I would say suffering from it and inhabiting this like big trap of, of news commentary and news sensationalism. And so I'm kind of answering your question through the opposite. I'm telling you what's not news, right? The news
Yeah.
commentary, the news punditizing, the news polarization, and all the stuff revolving around like sensationalizing it. That's not news. And so I just pause here. Like, that's not news. What is
Mhm.
news? We should get into that.
Yeah. Well, I think I want to add a little bit on that too, if you don't mind. So I was in college and I took journalism in high school and was a journalist in high school and college. And I was exploring being a journalist, which I shared with you before we recorded. But I was taught all of these things. I was taught what is propaganda? What is sensationalism? How do you write an accurate headline? How do you How do you decipher a news section versus the opinion section versus the features section versus the sports section versus the entertainment section? Like, these are all things that all of these people who are journalists or reporting the news, if they went to any kind of school for, which I don't think school's the end all be all, but like, you understand that like in a news story, you don't put your opinion in it, right? That's for the opinion section. And that's where you can have some debate back and forth. And you got one guy representing one position, another person representing another position. That's okay, but it's clearly in the opinion section. It's been so blurred, and I think it probably always has been, but now it's become so sensationalized and so clickbaity because everything's clicks with the internet. I mean, I have a YouTube show here. This will be on YouTube. Do you know how much time I'm going to spend trying to put together a clickbaity thumbnail just so people can hear what will be a substantive conversation? So, like, what do you think is fueling, and I have my takes, and we'll get into what is news, but what do you think fuels all of this propaganda and this pitting you against your neighbor and giving you narratives instead of the actual factual reporting of what's happening around us?
Totally. And I love that you sort of kind of answered the question for both of us. Like the news piece is the element of the paper that talks about the facts in a credible, in a reliable, in a referenced, in a clear way. And the opinion is, Nick and Kira talking about it, sharing their thoughts on policy, sharing how things should be, publicizing. And both flavors have the right to exist. And we need, probably their scores, we need these things. But it's the jumbling them together. It's the combining of them. It's the arranged marriage of news with opinion that is not welcome. And I think as it's doing so much more harm than good. And I think it's to a great degree, that's kind of my personal thesis. See, I'm flagging my opinion, is the reason why we live in such a hyper-polarized culture now in the US, is that the news section has had this, non-solicited arranged marriage with the opinion section. And it's caused all of us to have an allergic reaction to any news content because it catches us off guard. And it catches us in a moment of like being triggered. Either we're like in disagreement, we're like feeling fearful or angry, or we're triggered through a different way, saying like, oh, the other people are crazy. And we are right. Any flavor of the echo chamber, when you put the echo chamber layer onto the news, you destroy something more than just a single event of news readership. You destroy the trust. You erode the overall kind of like, wanting to stay informed habit, wanting to keep up with the news habit. And it compounds. Over time, people are going to stop reading news. Like today, news readership is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
I'm on the age brackets that really matter, that really define our future. And it's so tragic. I mean, it's so tragic that we found ourselves in this kind of conundrum where we have so much information these days. We have such, profound ways to distribute information. And yet we've broken the plumbing for facts. And the everyday person doesn't have access to facts anymore. They only have access to the sensationalized, clickbaited, rage-baited kind of thumbnail content. And I think that's a real shame. And that's the reason why Informed.now exists, is to fix that.
Yeah. Well, I think too, and you touched on this a little bit, but what I've really honed in on I would even say this is maybe more the last 6 years, but really like the last 10 years or so, 10, 11 years, when I've really, like, I woke myself up out of like not giving a shit about any of this stuff, which was a nicer time maybe. But what I really noticed was like, when Trump was running for president, it like broke so many people's brains, and it like put the pedal to the metal, I think, on this like sensationalized, hyperpolarized thing. But then what I think makes it even worse is you've got, and you said the echo chamber. I use that term all the time to talk about what's happening to you on social media, what's happening to you with your YouTube algorithm, what's happening to you on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you're using, is they literally meta politically labels you on a scale of like moderate, extremely moderate, liberal, extremely liberal, conservative, extremely conservative. It's like in your profile, you can go look at it. And what that does is it takes your news consumption, social mediaizes it, makes it short, right? And why everyone has ADD, but makes it short, makes it hypersensitive, high sensationalized, and then that's all you see. But then what happens is you're in this bubble of people that completely agree with you, or the other thing is you're also in a bubble with people who hate the same things as you. So while you may see 10 opinionated news things coming at you, there's going to be that one that's then going to be opposite of what you think to trigger you to just fuel that, like, that divide even more. So like these algorithms are reinforcing your beliefs in so many ways that I don't think we even think about, because we just think, but you go in and you open up your phone versus somebody else's phone, and you see the different types of content people get, and it's all to like reinforce biases. And that makes so much worse than just watching the news or reading the news or anything mainstream. So you're getting all of this stuff and it's forcing you to like not get an outside perspective. And then when you do get it, you're in this bubble that everyone in that bubble disagrees with it. And what this is, so then you still disagree with it. And what I think is interesting is these biases have been driving wedges in the last 10 years, which is my whole point of this rant, but it's been driving wedges in family and friends. And I can't believe how many people I know have cut off family members over having a difference in political belief. Like you could also, and it's just, it's the divide. It's the way the world is being shown to us versus our friends and our families. And it's like ruining families in some cases. And I just think that that's awful. And that's all because of this commentary disguised as news, in my opinion. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or want anything to share on
Yeah.
that, but that's why I think what you're doing is so important.
I love that you brought that up. I feel like, you know, news isn't just like one of the many different types of media. News is one of the most consequential like layers of just all media, right? We're not talking about entertainment. We're not talking about social media. We're talking about news, which define how we understand and how we feel about the world that we live in, which has direct impact on like our sense of happiness, our sense of safety, our sense of well-being, our decision making. So it isn't just another flavor of media. It is the most kind of consequential infrastructural like understanding layer of how we live our lives. And so it's so important. It's so important. I love that you brought up like all these things that have been going wrong. If I had to summarize kind of like, my take and our company's thesis, traditional news is suffering a lot from advertiser incentives, right? All the news companies that we know of today are beholden to advertiser revenue because they become, unfortunately, advertiser businesses. And when you're an advertiser business, you optimize for different metrics. You optimize for how can I get Nick to read this, to click on this, to read this for as long as possible so that I can feed more and more ads. On the social media side, they're optimizing for engagement. They're optimizing literally to trigger you, right? Because once they trigger you to cause you fear or anger or some sort of outburst, then you're engaging more, sending more messages, you're commenting more, you're engaged in this platform. And the marriage of the two, which also is this like, evil, the evil arranged marriage of social media kind of faults with traditional media, legacy media struggles. They come together to create this news media ecosystem that is extremely unhealthy, is extremely toxic. And it has all those capacities you mentioned to divide us, to make us feel alienated, to make us feel like, we live in a world where everybody agrees with us. And then we encounter somebody outside of that world and they're like, wait, you're crazy. It makes us incapable of productively, constructively disagreeing with other beings, right? And it's really tragic. And the whole urgency behind Informed.now is to build a viable alternative that doesn't try to influence you, doesn't try to solicit you, doesn't try to advertise you, and doesn't try to spin a story in a certain direction, which is why we are so proud to have users across the widest range of age, income, ideological spectrum, immigrant status, languages. We have this huge kind of melting pot of a user base, which is what the United States was always meant to be. And we're able to serve all of them incredible in a genuine way because we give them the infrastructure to make up their own mind on things. And we believe that's how media or news media should have always been done. It hasn't been. So we're fixing it.
Thank you for listening to this clip from the full episode of Eyes Wide Open. Please like and subscribe for daily clips and new episodes that drop every Tuesday. I appreciate you.